Hey everybody, welcome to Shelf Life, the monthly series where I look at games I covered 6 or 7 months ago and let you know whether they're still in my collection. And this time we're looking at games I covered back in August of 2025. Let's see which of them had shelf life. Starting out in the crowdfunding corner, we've got Dice Commandos, one of the Solo Game of the Month series games. And this one did not stick with me as much. I thought it was fine, but I definitely didn't have as much fun with it. Felt pretty random with which classes you got. I wasn't sure the variety was going to truly feel like it was there in multiple plays, but I still had a decent time with it, and I love the sort of 80s action movie inspired art and theme of everything. But yeah, I don't know if Dice Commandos will be a top one in this series for me. I kind of doubt it, but it's still a good time. That was one crowdfunding game, Dice Commandos. Next up is Camp Grizzly 2nd Edition. This one I had a ton of fun with, partially because I'm a huge horror movie fan, partially because my kids really had a good time with it, especially my 10-year-old. So I'm very much excited to get the final version of this one. My prototype had only a few of the finales you can have when you're playing through the game, so I want to see more of those. Now, don't get me wrong, this might be a somewhat repetitive experience. It's certainly a beer and pretzel game with some really random mechanics, but the theme and fun and quickness of the play won through at least when I was playing with the prototype. So I'm very excited for Camp Grizzly 2nd Edition. Then the last crowdfunding game is Exoterra. This is a giant mech battle game. Love that. It was a bit more complicated than I wanted in how the card play worked and the different defense types. And it was kind of hard to tell with the prototype because things weren't super well organized, like how the campaign was going to run, because you have enemies and you're tracking things and enemies are leveling up and you're leveling up. But the core card play was quite interesting. The idea of building your mech and equipping them with different items seemed awesome. This is one that I think I might love once the final game delivers, but it was hard to get a sense for whether I would fully love it from the prototype, just because it was a little bit hard to dig into everything. So hopefully this one goes great in the final development and everything, and I'm excited to hopefully try Exoterra again. Getting to release games, first up is Nature. I said in my review, this is one of my favorite games right now. I've been playing it a ton with my kids, well, particularly my 13-year-old. I love the variety in the modules. It's just fun to see how the different combos of cards can come together. And yeah, at least for me, trying to figure out how to survive and how to one-up your competition is always a blast. The solo mode by Ricky Royal is excellent and really lets you play the game quickly and in a fun way. I can't wait for more modules for this one. It is a recent favorite. Definitely a keep. That is Nature. Next is Marvel Dice Throne Adventures, and I'm on record saying this is my favorite way to play Dice Throne. I think this is way better than the old Adventures co-op mode. I like it better than competitive Dice Throne. That being said, I don't like Dice Throne that much. It is not my favorite system. The whole Yahtzee combat thing gets a little boring for me. But if you like Dice Throne, I think the combination of one-off minion stages and bosses here, the Marvel theme, the choices you have to make with who you fight and when is really good. There could be more variety. It could be a little bit deeper, but that's not really what they're going for. So yeah, it was not a winner for me. I called it, but my kids liked it, and I think if you like Dice Throne, this will be a huge hit for you. That's Marvel Dice Throne Missions. And yeah, I just realized I've been calling them Adventures. That was the other one, the fantasy one. So sorry for the confusion, but that's a call. Next up is Spooktacular from my favorite publisher, Level 99. This is one of their great ones where you have tons of different factions to try out, different unique things to do, in this case, monsters that are scaring people around. And yeah, the whole thing is that you're trying to scare these guests and eat them basically in different ways. And I did find the gameplay a little bit repetitive, even with the different factions, which is why this one didn't have long-lasting staying power in my collection. But my kids enjoyed it. I had a fun time with it. It is fun to try different monsters. The solo mode is just okay. They only let you play against one other monster, so it's really a way to test your own monsters instead of doing a lot of different stuff with the solo itself. But still is a great, fun, casual game with a lot of variety. It was not a keeper for me, so I did call Spooktacular, but I think it's one you can easily enjoy. Next up is Phantom Epoch, a tactical dungeon crawl combat game, very heavily influenced by Gloomhaven. You're fighting against different enemies in these scenario maps in map books, and you are playing out cards from your class and kind of comboing them together to move, to attack, to fire off special abilities. Now, to be fully honest, this is not my favorite type of game these days, kind of combat-focused dungeon crawlers, as you don't have time for them. But this one is a pretty solid one. It's a little bit smoother to play than Gloomhaven, although it does not have nearly the tactical depth. It also has a dice rolling thing that can be a little frustrating with this whole fumble mechanic, although I believe they've released an official variant to make that not as painful. And just give another shout out to the components. I love the way they did these standee bases that let you kind of flick through their life totals to easily keep track of stuff and not have damage tokens. Awesome idea for other games to try out. But yeah, Phantom Epoch was just okay for me. It is a cull, but I think if you like Gloomhaven, if you like these scenario-based combat games, you might have a great time with it. Next up is the Legacy of the Ancestors campaign for Earthborne Rangers. I've been on record saying this is one of my favorite games recently. It kind of has elements of Arkham Horror, but in a open world adventure campaign sense. The card play is great, the characters are great, the art is beautiful, the sense of exploration and open world narrative is great, and Legacy of the Ancestors so far is an awesome campaign. I still, unfortunately, 6 or 7 months later, have not quite finished it. It's just hard to find time for these big campaign games, but I hope to at some point. It's definitely still a keeper for me. And yeah, I think I did recently an Arkham Horror versus Earthborne Rangers video, and I think Earthborne Rangers has some things that puts it above Arkham Horror, and some things that puts it below for my taste. But great game system in any case. That is Earthborne Rangers, and it is a keeper along with the Legacy of the Ancestors campaign. Next is in a bit of an older game, BattleCON, also from level 99. This is one of my favorite fighting games. If I didn't adore Exceed so much, I'm sure I'd be playing this a whole bunch. It is kind of the precursor to Exceed. It has such great fighter variety. It is more of a strategic game than Exceed because you have more information on what combos your characters can fire off and the enemy can fire off, and finding the combos of cards and powers and things is so cool. It does take a little bit longer than Exceed. It can be a more punishing game, but I adore it. And hey, if you can track down the Devastation of Indies pack, they even have a solo co-op mode. I also did an unofficial solo variant. I don't think it's nearly as good as my Exceed work, but it still does the job. So yeah, this is an awesome game if you like 1v1 fighters. And again, there are some ways to play solo co-op. Yeah, so check out BattleCON. If you like Exceed, you'll like this, and it's one of my favorites. Oh, and sorry, I should say it's a keeper, of course. Next up is the Riddle of the Sphinx cooperative solo expansion for Santorini. I love Santorini as an abstract strategy game. Try to move these workers around and build buildings and try to get to the highest level before your opponent does. But this really levels the game up. It gives so many different things to do. The scenario variety is awesome. And it's just great to be able to play a thought-provoking, cool, abstract game like this in a solo co-op context. Now, the big negative here is that Santorini by itself you gotta buy, then you also have to buy the expansion, and it is getting a bit expensive, especially if you're not going to play the competitive mode. I love competitive and solo co-op, so it's fine for me. But yeah, it's not a full recommend if you're not going to dive into all the game modes, but still an awesome game, one of my favorites from last year. That is Santorini with the Riddle of the Sphinx expansion. And that's a keep. Okay, getting near the end, we have the 20-strong Tanglewoods set. I actually don't remember which one I covered 6 or 7 months ago because I've been covering all of them over the course of time. But yeah, this, like all the 20-strong sets, has been a mixed bag. Some of the sets I thought were great. Some of them I thought were pretty bad. Go check my ranking video to hear more about that. I would say Tanglewoods overall was maybe weaker for me than the original set of releases. And kind of 20-strongs has been on a downward track for me in general. Like, I really like parts of Cloudspire, but it had some flaws. I am supposed to get the Awaken Realms one pretty soon, so we'll see if that kind of pulls things out a bit. But yeah, I've definitely lost some love for the system, but I am still keeping it because it's such a small package for so much great varied gameplay. It's very portable and travelable, so I'm not planning to get rid of any of them, but Tanglewoods was not a full-on winner for me, and I would only recommend a couple of them. Again, go check my ranking video to hear which ones, but that is Tanglewoods for 20 strong, a keep for now. And last up is Vale of Eternity, competitive card game that I did do an unofficial solo mode for. This is a mix of drafting and kind of tableau building and card combos. Really, really enjoy this one. But unfortunately, my family did not enjoy it as much as me, so it ended up being a call. Now, I will say a big reason why it was a call is that it is on Board Game Arena, BGA, and I have a subscription there, so I can play it a lot there anytime I want to. And like, my solo mode was fine, but I don't think it's like the best way to play the game by any stretch. So yeah, I still really like Vale of Eternity, but it just didn't fit with my game groups. My kids didn't really want to play it that much, so that was a call for me, the last one. So 5 games kept out of 9, pretty good numbers, although to be fair, most of them are expansions or add-ons for games I already like. But let's get to the contest results and see who was able to predict my decisions. Starting out with the first group of games, Nature got 59% guessing it correctly, Marvel Dice Throne got 58%, messed up a lot of people, and Spooktacular got 24%. Group 2 had 2 games kept. 82% of you, a ton, knew that I'd keep Earthborne Rangers with the expansion, but only 41% thought I would keep BattleCON. I guess y'all knew my love for Exceed and thought it might make me get rid of the other one. And Phantom Epoch only got 12%. And then finally, for Group 3, 63% of you correctly guessed 20 strong, but only 46% guessed Santorini with the Riddle of the Sphinx expansion, and 38% guessed Vale of Eternity incorrectly. And this time that leaves only 3 people who guessed everything correct, all, however many games that was, 9 or 10. Andrew Luxton Riley said they didn't want to be entered in the contest, so we're left with Cobus and Curtis. Gonna roll a d6. 1 to 3 is Cobus, 4 to 6 is Curtis. And here we go. It's a 6. Which means our winner for this month is Curtis Johns. Congratulations. I'll be in touch soon about your free game. And everybody else, check out the video description and go ahead and vote for April. And we'll see you next time for more of Shelf Life.